okay? If I was not an experienced nurse, this is what I'd be looking at, okay? You've got Ruin to slow down the game. It's going to allow you to travel around. Keep in mind the nurse moves at 96.5% movement speed. When she blinks, she moves at 20-meter movement speed, and then 20-meter movement speed. So she can move at 20 meters after a 2-second charge, and then her second charge for 2 seconds, she can then move 8 meters, okay? This is going to give her Ruin. It's going to allow regression, slowing down the game. If you don't land a great skill check, goes back 5%, pauses for about 1.5 seconds before productivity can go even further. All right, this is for a nurse that thinks she's okay, not amazing, okay? Next, we have Nurse's Calling. You hit a survivor, you're going to be able to track them and be able to see them healing. If you see them healing, remember, you can blink 20 meters, and then you can blink 8 meters without any add-ons. That is the entire distance of Nurse's Calling. However, you have a 32-meter heartbeat, which can be heard before Nurse's Calling kicks in. A smart survivor will stop healing, etc. if they know you have Nurse's Calling. Barbecue and Chili is going to give you good situational awareness. If you are going to hook somebody, you're going to be able to see other people around the board and be able to go, okay, I'm going to go that way, that way, that way. I can see there's 2 people on this generator. I'm going to path in accordance with that. Then you've got Make Your Choice. Make Your Choice is going to allow you to rotate back to the hook after somebody's saved and take the guy who just got saved, or go for the opposite guy. However, because you're running Nurse's Calling, realistically, if you do not want to go back to the hook and you're all about split pressure, momentum, moving around the board, you can go Sloppy Butcher in wake of Make Your Choice. This is going to allow you to hit people. It's going to take longer to heal. Instead of healing with self-care in 32 seconds, they're going to do it in 40 seconds, giving a bigger window for you to find them on a Nurse's Calling. This is what I'd recommend to an inexperienced nurse. It's still somebody who has access to perks, okay? Now, if I had no possible teachables as nurse, what would I recommend? Now, this is a really touchy and hard situation to recommend these to you, because this comes down to people that, if you don't have the teachables, you're probably not going to understand tracking. Okay, so I still have Sloppy Butcher to slow down healing. I have Nurse's Calling to give me some form of situational awareness when somebody is healing. However, if I was not confident in using Whispers, now, Whispers is very powerful. It allows me to walk over to a Jenny or blink to a Jenny. If nobody is within 32 meters, I can just go, no one's at the Jenny, boom, straight to another Jenny. A really experienced killer with Whispers can stand in the middle. Remember, it is 32 meters circumference around you. That's 32 meters from point A, 32 meters from point B. You can stand there and you walk in and out. Let's just say north, south, east, west. You can walk north, south, east, west. And then in accordance with that, once ever it lights up, you're going to be able to pinpoint a 45-degree angle of which direction the survivor is in. Keep in mind, Whispers does not apply. Well, it does apply to the person on the hook. So if I've hooked Jeff here, I can't track anyone within 32 meters because Jeff's on that hook. Keep that in mind. But if I blink further than 32 meters away from Jeff, or I get more than 32 meters away because I can understand sense of meters in game, I'm going to know that somebody's obviously coming in, and they're going to be coming in around me in that angle. So whatever's within 32 meters of me, partaking, obviously Jeff being in front. Good perk, but keep in mind, I'm recommending this to new people. So instead, we could go Thanophobia, but a new person probably doesn't understand split pressure as much. You could go Spies for a little bit of situational awareness. The best perk I can recommend for a brand new person trying to understand Nurse would be this entire build. Once the survivor completes a generator, they're going to glow bright pink, and they're going to reveal their aura for 10 seconds, allowing you to get more precise with your blink, get closer, and be able to get that hit. If you've already got that hit, they might not have healed because of Sloppy Butcher. You have Nurse's Calling if they do try and heal, and you've got Deerstalker. This is going to show you a lot of auras around the map when you actually start hurting people. It's going to allow you to understand how far you're going to blink and help your muscle mass memory in terms of when to go for a 20-meter blink, when not to. If we're talking about the nurse, she has an open hand, and when she's charging her blink, she closes it a bit, but when you see the fist, it means it's fully charged. Right, so hands like that, you'll hear her go, woo, or whatever she does, and then when she closes it, it means it's fully charged, meaning she's going to go 20 meters. You're going to go 20 meters straight. If a guy double backs into you, you can look down, blink to the floor, and you blink on your location, but you're still going to use a 20-meter blink. Because you're going to use a 20-meter blink, it's going to take 2 seconds to do that animation. He could have span around and made a little bit of distance between you, or blocked your line of sight. Will not work if there's a floor below you. You'll go right into the basement, you'll go right downstairs, whatever's below you. Just keep that in mind too. If you're on a map like the game, you'll go down the platform. Not a bad build. You've got Deerstalker in case you down somebody and you see another player and you want to go for the other player and get a free hit with your Sloppy Butcher to split the pressure on the other guy, then go back to your Deerstalker. But you know, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better off you're going to be. I would recommend that to a basic nurse. As opposed to the previous build, I'd recommend to a decent nurse. Now, if we're going to go into advanced nurse tactics, before I show you what build I recommend, let's talk about some really powerful wombo combos, alright? If we're going to be looking, Barbecue and Chili gives you a lot of situational awareness and a lot of knowledge of when to where to go and how to path and rotate. Barbecue and Chili can be countered by a couple of ways. You can get close enough You can have a perk, which Jeff unlocks at level 40, that'll counter it as well, or you can get inside a locker. Therefore, Iron Maiden isn't a really bad choice on the nurse. Now, keep in mind, you do not have the lethality of a one-hit KO, but at the same time, you're going to have a lot of pressure and power. If somebody tries to hide from you from barbecue and chili, their aura is still going to be revealed to you for 4 seconds. Not their aura, their scream, as if it was a doctor, once they come out of the locker. So no matter what happens, unless somebody comes close to you, that's going to give you really good situational awareness and knowledge. You don't care about the 50% locker search. You don't care about the instant injure down. It doesn't matter. What you care about is the fact that you're going to be able to know where every player is unless they come close enough to you. But this also being said, if we're going to take a step back real quick and we're going to look at this isn't that bad. A lot of good players might see a nurse lunge early, jump in and out of a locker. That'll give him make your choice equivalent on him Iron Maiden for 15 seconds, allow you to follow up with a hit. And then he just tried to locker juke somebody with a very powerful perk. They'll only make that mistake once, they won't make it twice. But now you'll notice we still have 2 spots available. We have nothing to slow down the game in my favor. We have a little bit of situational awareness. We're in a comfortable spot, okay? Now, my final 2 perks can be filled a numerous amount of ways, okay? I can go Ruin, which is pretty stock standard staple. You'll see a lot of nurses with it. I personally don't run Ruin, but we'll get to my detailed build in a little bit of time. Now, the final perk, you could run a numerous amount of things. You could go Horn of Ground here if you wanted it. You could go Devour Hope. You could go make your choice for Reluctant Reliability on the instant injure hit. Or, however, you could go Agitation. I'm not going to recommend Agitation because I'm trying to tell you what a good build is. Now, I'm not saying Agitation is bad. I'm just saying I would have to take 20 minutes to explain to you how good Agitation is for you to actually be able to understand for the majority of people that are currently listening. But if we're going to keep looking at this right now, guys, honest to God, the final perk here, I could probably say I would want to put in Infectious Fright, but I'm not going to go into details with that. I'm going to say Pop Goes the Weasel. Now, I'm going to have something to slow down the game. I'm going to have knowledge from knowing which direction to go in. I'm going to also have knowledge if they try and hide from me in the locker, and then also going to be able to get Pop Goes the Weasel and Force Regression. Pop Goes the Weasel can be integrated and exchanged with Make Your Choice, depending on whether you want regression or you want more maximum power and push. I personally prefer to take regression. Pop Goes the Weasel is my favorite perk in the game. It is so damn powerful. It rewards you for playing well as opposed to not playing well. Okay? Now, this is a pretty stock standard build for a nurse. You won't see a lot of nurses take advantage of Iron Maiden. It's a big mistake. But I did tell you what I would show you the build that I'm going to be running. Now, my personal build that I run on nurse and I generate many 4Ks with is a little different to what a lot of people in my community would currently think, alright? My first perk is Infectious Fright. Infectious Fright means if I down somebody with an M1, which is always, even if I blink with M2 and I down someone with an M1, it's still going to give me situational awareness. Now, keeping this in mind, I'm also going to be able to know I've just downed Jeff and I can see Detective Tap's aura, or I heard his scream, he's all the way to the right hand side. You still scream in a locker, you just don't reveal your aura. So if you're in the locker beside me and I hear a Megan yell, I can check the locker and pull you out. You still make that sound indicator, you're going to be able to hear it yourself, I just don't get the sound bubble. But this being said, that's the killer's heartbeat, which is 32 meters. It's going to give me a lot of knowledge. Alright, so here's a scenario. I down Jeff, Megan starts running to the right, Claudette starts running to the left. Best option, pick Jeff up, hook Jeff, cycle in accordance with what I know, okay? However, I down Jeff, only Claudette screams and starts running. I leave Jeff on the ground because I know I'm in the corner of the map, or wherever I am. I leave Jeff down, and now I chase Claudette. That means there are 2 people in chase or immobilized right now, okay? Best case scenario, I down Jeff, I found Claudette, I down Claudette, and then I've got somebody else. And then I can either go back for Jeff to hook him because he's fully recovered, or I could just change target again, get a free M1, then back to Jeff. Gives me a lot of knowledge, allows me to rotate, change my pathing, my directioning. It helps me out a hell of a lot. The situational awareness coming out of Infectious Fright is phenomenal when you know how to do it. Now, keep in mind, the scream, the aura that appears, it's there for 6 seconds. It doesn't follow the survivor when he runs. Where he was when you down somebody is where it goes to. So your first blink needs to be precise straight on that, and then your follow-up blink needs to go straight towards the survivor. Don't think, just blink, and then react in accordance with how you go. You need to get as close to them as possible. Some people might try and urban evade into corn. There might be a lot of different plays people try. So I strongly recommend for an advanced nurse with thousands of hours, like myself, I would recommend Infectious Fright. The next perk, you guessed it, right? I don't recommend this perk on a lot of killers because it's going to hurt your performance in terms of tracking without it, but I recommend it on the nurse 100%. Barbecue and chili. Somebody might be coming in for a hook save and crouch behind a rock just outside of 32 meters, or 40 meters, sorry, and I might be able to just blink over and get a free hit on them. It's going to give me knowledge. It's going to give me a lot of situational awareness. However, it doesn't give me phenomenal amounts of knowledge. Now, if you guys know me, I'm all about understanding how things work and how the cookie crumbles. If we're going to cycle on to our fourth perk, not our third perk here, we're going to show you the perk that I call my second favorite perk in Dead by Daylight. You will see so many streamers talk ill of this perk. This is called Discordance, alright? Let me give you a scenario. 2 people are on a generator, or 2 people touch a generator at the same time. That will then explode for 12 seconds, okay? I'm going to be able to blink over, and if that explosion stops, I'm going to be able to go, okay, 12 seconds. He hasn't left any scratch marks. He'll have probably made it this far or this far, and I can cut them off in accordance with knowing that. Another scenario. Jeff's on the hook. I'm chasing Claudette, and then a generator starts exploding. I down Claudette. I now know where 2 people are. I can blink over to the Jenny and try and catch him. I could blink over to the Jenny, stand at a 45-degree angle where I can see them try and escape while Jeff is dying on hook, while the other girl's on the ground, and now I have pressure on every single survivor. It's all about knowledge and power, and knowledge is power. I got barbecue and chili to find the individual survivor running around. I also have discordance to find the group of survivors running around. That allows me to know where to go at the start of the game. Rather than relying on ruin and going from Jenny to Jenny, this is going to allow me to go, I'll spawn in the middle of the corn, I might wait 5 seconds, I'll charge my blink, and the second a Jenny explodes, I'm going to go straight towards that. There's going to be 2 people there. I'm going to try and M1 one, and then I'm going to try and go for the other one. I'm going to try and keep the pressure going and the momentum. This brings me to my next perk. Now, remember, you always want something to regress the game. I could run Ruin here, but Ruin is a gambling perk. I'm not a really gambling man. I run Pop Goes the Weasel. Pop Goes the Weasel is going to help me with barbecue and chili. I'm going to put somebody, and then I'm going to be able to see one person working on a Jenny, or, however, if a Jenny's exploding because 2 people are on it, I know exactly where to go with my Pop Goes the Weasel. I'm going to blink over, I'm going to try and get an M1. If I can't, I kick the Jenny, I M1 somebody, and then if I could chase that guy down and M1 him again, I might see somebody on Infectious Fright go back to tap that generator. Now I've got 2 players immobilized as opposed to 1 player immobilized. Remember, there's only 4 people, and it's understanding my pathing and my momentum of how to make this work. I don't run Ruin. This is what I recommend for somebody who has a lot of experience. Now, I don't know, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm on a brand new account right now. I'm a lot higher than a level 50 nerf. I'm just going to put that out there due to matchmaking taking so long to get games. We have multiple accounts we play on here right now. That being said, if we're going to move on to add-ons, so this is what I would recommend for a player like myself. I don't think there's anything better than this. Let's talk about really good add-ons, the key points, the key features. A lot of people think there is one here that allows you to know where you're going to blink to. Okay, I do not recommend this. Even if you're learning nurse, I do not recommend this. Understand the muscle mass memory. Hand open, hand closed, 20-meter blink, right? So understand in the 2 seconds how far your channeling is going to be. You're going to be holding it for about 0.8 of a second. You might go 12 meters. Or, sorry, not 12, like math goes. You might go 8 meters. If you're holding it for 1.2 seconds, you'll go 12 meters. Roughly understand, every 0.1 of a second would be 1 meter that you're going to be blinking towards. Roughly. That's a little bit on edge. Kind of, don't quote me on those numbers. Moving on to the very important ones, we've got another really good mention here. This is called a pocket watch. Now, why is the pocket watch really good? When you blink, this reduces your fatigue time and looking down. Every additional blink you do adds 0.5 of a second cooldown. So if I have fucking 5 blinks and I go blink, 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 M1, and now I'm going to be looking at the ground for about 2.5 to 3 seconds of shame before I can even do anything. As opposed to the pocket watch, it reduces how much time you're looking at the ground. So if you do one big blink and then you fatigue, and you do another big blink to close the map distance, as opposed to blink, blink, fatigue, blink, blink, you're better off just going big blink, wait, obviously in accordance with knowing that they're about to pop a Jenny, or they're not about to pop a Jenny and you're just circling the map, depending on how you're going. So those are the 2 mentions I wanted to point out. On top of this, you have the pine cone and the obnoxious grass. Now, this here says considerably decrease accuracy. Ignore it. It's bullshit. It does nothing. When you're charging a blink, you're guaranteed to go in a straight line of wherever you're holding your fist. Okay? So if I'm holding my fist to the right, and Dwight's around the corner, and Dwight sees me holding the fist to the right, Dwight should know I'm going in a straight line in that direction. However, a good nurse will be able to hold a blink, and then change it, and then blink towards the survivor's location. You don't want to cut people off, you want to blink to where they were, in case they try something cute and double back, and then you want to precision blink. Nurse has 2 blinks for reason. She has a gap close, and then she has a precise blink. That is it. She used to have 3 blinks back in the day, but it was way too strong. Even though if we come down here, she still has one over here, which is this one right here. Gives her an additional blink. Makes a little bit smaller range, but that shouldn't be a brown add-on. Moving back on, the nurse can blink 20 meters in 2 seconds. This makes the nurse be able to blink about 26, 28 meters. And this here allows her to blink 32 meters. So putting that together, yes, the nurse can blink 32 meters in a 2-second charge. The gap close and pressure she has is freaking phenomenal. You can go about 32 meters, and then she has a follow-up blink of about 13, 14 meters as well. It's very far. It can close the entire board. You will know if the nurse has this, because she's going to be able to, you're going to be able to break line of sight, get so far away, and she's just going to precise blink straight towards you. It's going to be really terrifying. However, at the same time, in my opinion, this is classified as training wheels as a nurse. It's what people use when they're not confident in how strong she is. She's already the strongest girl in the game with her kit, being able to remove all forms of defenses from a survivor, apart from line of sight. A lot of decent survivors will be running Iron Will if they know you're playing a nurse, therefore removing sound, unless you're listening to the gravel move, the dirt, the pavement, the cement, the grass, etc. Breathing, those kind of things cannot be removed from Dead by Daylight, even with perks. This also being said, if we're going to look into one more thing, I do not recommend add-ons like I was saying. If I wanted to play a very sweaty game of nurse and I wanted to win, I wanted the guarantee, this is what I would do. I would change one thing out of my build here. I would put on Ruin. I would then go, I mean, if I wanted to win, alright? If we're going to be honest here, I'm going to go that, and I'm going to go that. Then I'm going to go to a game offering. This is going to allow me to go to the smallest map because it's stacked on itself and blink up and down platforms and be able to down people. I have a lot of situational awareness from barbecue. I have infectious fright. It's going to help me so much on this map. It's just going to give me a lot of pressure, and it's going to allow me to rotate around. That there is a win in the bag. You might think, oh no, but you don't have a Mori. You're correct. You don't need a Mori because you're forcing yourself to go to the best possible map. And it's all about split pressure and rotation. Now, I'm going to show you guys an honorable mention real quick in terms of builds that I used to run, which is still a very strong build. Now, this build, everything entwines hand in hand, so you'll notice it's very similar to the build I have right now. There is, however, one quick change, so we're going to go, that's not what I wanted. We're going to go Devour Hope here, chat, because I did used to love running Devour Hope, and there's my build right there. Now, I have Devour Hope, I have Pop Goes the Weasel, I have Agitation, and I have Barbecue and Chili. So once I down a survivor, I can then pick him up, take him straight away to a hook, 18% quicker. Keep in mind, every killer moves at the same movement speed. If I'm the Trapper carrying Meg, I move at the same movement speed as the nurse carrying Meg. It's the exact same. Agitation allows me to move quicker. Now, a lot of times you'll be walking, you'll M1 a survivor, he'll do something cute, spin in front of you, and then maybe dead hard away. You can walk up to an M1 him again. You're going to be fast enough, you're going to be able to catch him if he tries to dead hard past you. You'll be able to walk back and M1 him. Keep in mind, you don't have any lunge. This also being said, it's going to allow me to get Pop Goes the Weasel quick, allowing me to rotate towards the generator that I need to go. It's also going to stack perfectly with Barbecue and Chili. Also going to give me the situational awareness. And it's going to allow me to get Devour Hope stacks quicker. This is what I used to run on Nurse before I came up with the Infectious Fright build before. Worked very powerful, worked very well. Obviously, if you lose Ruin early, you need to understand pressure, momentum, and mobility. A lot of killers don't understand how much time is actually used and consumed picking up a survivor and traveling to a hook, as opposed to if you can get that animation out of the way quicker, you can actually save a lot of jennies and get to the generator very fast, especially if you can blink through objects. So that's about it, guys, for the Nurse. If you guys have any questions about Nurse, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll probably most likely put this up on YouTube as well, so if you guys want to check out the live stream, I'm over here at Twitch.